welcome everyone back to another Steam Deck review. Today's topic is a top-down stealth action game in Intravenous with the help of an anonymous stranger, providing you with a wide array of weapons and gadgets to choose from. You'll set out to avenge your brother's death and choose to either stick to the shadows to get in and out of places, taking down as many enemies as you so see fit, or you can go out all action blasting everyone you see. But be careful, as everyone, including yourself, is only a split second away from dying. This game has hands down some of the best AI enemies in a game I've ever seen, but before we get into all that, we're going to go over the same three things as always in story, gameplay, and performance on the Steam Deck, and then giving the game a rating on a 1 to 10 scale. So let's begin. So the story here is pretty run-of-the-mill revenge quest, as you might expect. You and your brother go out drinking, and on the walk back home, your brother is brutally killed in a back alley by some addicts looking to score some cash for their next hit. You set out with the help of an anonymous stranger to help track down those who killed your brother before your mission spirals into something completely else. So without giving away any spoilers, I will say the story does do an adequate job of giving you a reason to care, has a rather obvious plot twist and final act. The game is on the shorter end with about 14 missions or so long, and how long it takes you to beat will really just be dependent on how well you play the game. But with that being said, there really isn't a whole lot to say without kind of giving away spoilers, and again, the story is pretty short. So with that being said, let's move on over to gameplay now. So we're going to break up gameplay into two different sections, the enemy AI and how the game actually plays. So let's start with the basics first. You will have a series of guns to choose from, ranging from shotguns, AKs, and some machine guns, and a variety of pistols, some silenced, some not, plus a handful of gadgets ranging from grenades, flashbangs, medkits, EMP devices, tasers, and so on. You will also have the ability to choose from two different armors, being Kevlar and ceramic, or you can choose to wear both, but wearing both, of course, or just one at all, will impact your speed and the amount of noise you make while walking or running. The game does an incredible job with not only letting you know what is going on, but also using that for and against you. There are meters showing how loud you're being, health and armor, of course, and how visible you are. In this game, darkness is everything. You won't be able to see your enemies in a dark alleyway the same way they won't be able to see you. Of course, the AI does have a vision cone of sorts, but it's invisible to you. But unlike other games, just because you can't see someone doesn't mean they can't see you. The game does a really good job of implementing ways for you to move around the environment while also making it feel alive. Turning off lights, jumping over walls, going through windows, jumping into air vents, opening, closing doors, and so on. Now, a lot of this might sound simple, but it actually does play in a lot. See, the AI is going to notice everything that you do, anything that's out of place, anything that might have not been happening beforehand, dead bodies, of course. If, for example, a light wasn't previously on or off when they left a room and they notice it, they're going to get suspicious about that. A door left open that wasn't supposed to be, or if you're too close to them, they're going to hear it. Sound especially. You might knock someone out by pistol whipping them from behind, but when their body hits the floor, if someone's close enough, someone's going to notice that and go check out what happened. Same with silenced gunshots. So for those of you who don't know, silenced or not, guns are still extremely loud, and if you're close enough when you make that silent shot to another enemy, they're going to hear it and they're going to know they heard a gunshot. You may have taken out all the lights off in a room, but if the AI has a flashlight or they happen to be able to see enough light through the window, they're going to see that you're either in there, a dead body's in there, or there's something just isn't right. Which leads me into the second segment of gameplay, and that is the enemy AI. If you haven't gathered already, it's incredibly smart, not only for reacting to whatever you may do in the environment. Say, for example, you turn off all the lights in a building by turning off the switch box, but someone's going to go out there and turn it back on if they notice it. The AI is constantly doing sweeps of the area, and if it's alerted to something on the other side of the map, will of course go check it out, stay in the area for some time before going back to their regular patrols. Also, if you happen to get into an all-out shootout, all the enemies within the general area will all be alerted and go straight to you ready to shoot. Standard stuff, right? But they won't just form up in a single file line. They will spread out, come from multiple angles, and actively try to flank you or suppress you given where they heard the shots from and where they can come from. They'll even try to suppress you while others try to close in on you. Say, for example, you're shooting out a window at guys. While you're shooting at them, some other guys are going to go around and actually enter the building you're in to try to get you from behind. If enemies notice you're just waiting for them to go down a hallway to shoot at them, they're going to adapt really quickly and stop going down that way, wait for you to come out or do something else. They will wait for backup before trying to charge you. They will actively look for other ways to approach you if they think the current way is not good. They will even have calls for one another approaching the area. The game is constantly flexing its muscles on how responsive the AI is to your actions and its ability to counter you. Hell, if the AI even thinks you're in the area, it's going to start peeking corners ready to fire. Lastly now, let's talk about performance on the Steam Deck. As it currently sits, it's Steam Deck verified, which while true, does have some caveats to it in my opinion. This is one of the few games where playing with mouse and keyboard definitely would have felt better, as the button layout was a bit atrocious, and while of course you can remap things to yourself or use alternate layouts the game has, there's still a major glaring issue. The camera. See, the game is top down, but when aiming the camera, it doesn't snap back to you when you stop aiming. The reticle will just stay extended out rather than snapping back to you. So instead I had to play with twin stick mode, which while it did fix that issue, also severely limited how far the camera will go out. negatively impacting my ability to aim farther down hallways and things of that nature because my enemies would see me before I even could sometimes, which would lead to me getting killed. And again, button layouts were just sort of poorly done in my mind, though aside from that, performance was exactly what you would expect from any game on Steam Deck, which is smooth and fun experience that doesn't draw too much battery power. I didn't experience any bugs or glitches, nor did I have to deal with any game crashings at any point. It ran pretty smooth. So with all that being said, after 12.1 hours on Steam and 20 out of 45 achievements unlocked, the game proved to be incredibly frustrating, all the while being exactly what one would want from a stealth game of this variety. I played on true difficulty, which of course is the way the game was intended to be played, and everything is more realistic and the AI is far more formidable alongside the fact that you die very quickly. Also, it should be noted, I forgot to add this in my review, the game will only give you 3 save points, which you do earn more after completing missions or getting to certain checkpoints, but overall, like, you can't just spam save to get yourself out of a pickle. You have to actually be good at the game. As frustrating as the game can be sometimes, that was definitely my fault, as being loud and dumb more often than not was my sort of game. This game very much is set up in a way where you can avoid killing any enemies whatsoever you choose. The quickness in which you die though still remains the same, and I found the second half of the game to be really frustrating with far tighter level design, and you also lose the ability to kit yourself out due to story reasons, making the game 10 times harder. While playing the game, I was having a bit of an epiphany because on one hand, the most of my deaths were due to my own fault, but the game also had an unrelenting difficulty that to say when I finished the level, I thought, wow, that was really good. So it forced me to adapt, though I usually just kept banging my head against the wall until it worked. I think this game would be a great pickup for any stealth fan looking for a challenge, especially those of you who like beating levels without ever being seen or only killing the target. For me though, the second half really dampened the game as a whole, plus the undercooked story left something to be desired. While I don't mind the game's length, it took me so long only because of how often I was dying, and that had to do with the enemy AI, which again, it's very much a give and take sort of situation. For as much praise as I've given this game, I'm still unfortunately going to give it a 7 out of 10. I was originally going to give it a 6, but after going back and forth a little bit, I thought 7 was more adequate. The gameplay elements you want are definitely there, with a story that exists but does little more than that, and the second half of the game that really kills the mood by stripping you of almost everything and making the game vastly harder, but more of an obtuse way. Also, something that I noticed while recording footage for this game is the fact that all the levels are, generally speaking, kind of copy and paste for one another, and I do think the level designs overall are pretty good, and you can definitely tell the differences in them, but I'm going to have to kind of, nitpick that a little bit because I did think a lot of the levels felt samey. But that's going to do it for me today, guys. Let me know what you thought down in the comment section below. What do you think of Intravenous? Did I make you want to play the game? Did I scare you away from it? Or do you have any thoughts on it? Did you already play it? Let me know anything you think down in the comment section below, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.
Intelligent enemies.
We'll see it here. Aye.
And revoke shitting licenses from people who take too long. Steve has all the tools for the job at his disposal. Guns, gadgets, and a kick-ass soundtrack that'll force you to go in guns blazing every time.